Hello there everyone and welcome to round 5 of the CRS British Touring Car Championship. This week we're at Brands Hatch using the Indy circuit, and your pole sitter for this round is Jaden HW in his Team Dynamics Beamer. Second place would be Joseph McKenna in his Any Carina, and a highest qualifying place for Rearsuck in third in his Renault 19. Vinnie Roberts, the second of the Team Dynamics BMWs, would be fourth, while Fausta 21 would be fifth. I would put my Peugeot 405 into sixth, and Assetto Drifter would put the other Any Carina into seventh. Brett, a decent qualifying position in eighth for him. Toru, a very consistent ninth qualifying position for him once again. MBG rounding out the top 10. Tom in the first of the Listerine BMWs, P11, while Alex Plunkett would put his Pinkney Motorsports Beamer into P12. Kitu in his Cavalier would be 13th, and Ibi in his Securicor Carina would be 14th. Nofridge in the next of the Listerine BMWs 15th, Scalaris 16th, and then Bowtie in the next Mondeo down the grid in 17th, with Method in the other Renault 19 in 18th, Clementine 19th, and Rusty bringing out the back of the grid in the next of the Vauxhall Sport Vauxhall Cavaliers. So coming down into the first corner, we knew it would be rather chaotic, and that indeed was the case, with the rear-wheel drive cars at the back getting much better starts and everybody rushing to get positions. It would involve in a free wide manoeuvre from Tom trying to go into the first corner, while me and Assetto Drifter would make contact, and then the rest of the field would just try and find a way through, not everyone being 100% successful in that. Watching a replay of my start, I can see that I get a slightly better start than Fapster, but after checking on my Heli Corsa, I can see that there's a car on the inside, so I back out, thinking I can turn in, and then the Assetto Drifter comes out of nowhere, and then that puts me off into the gravel pretty much all the way down the back of the grid. But speaking of Tom, looking at his start, you can see what a monster of a start he got, gaining a multitude of places all the way before the first corner, unfortunately just not turning in early enough, which caused him to run into the side of Fapster, and then Fapster hitting him, not sure if intentional or not, on corner exit. Watching from the rear of Vinny's car, we can see how extensive the carnage really was coming round that first turn, but the leaders mostly managed to get through clean. And with all of the carnage, it really mixed things up, with some of the guys who are usually a little bit lower down the grid getting put towards the front, which left some really interesting battles, as you can see MBG and Fapster going side by side on corner exit there. I was able to gain a couple places on that lap, but nothing particularly too major from offs. MBG and Fapster having a little bit of a battle here and there coming around the first corner. MBG unable to get past coming down into turn 2 either. A little bit further up the grid we should see Joseph and Vinny's battle. Here we go. Vinny getting very sideways around the first corner, and Joseph able to squeeze down the inside very briefly for the second corner, but that's going to put him on the outside for the next one, and from what I remember that is indeed the case. He just hasn't got the drive out the corner to be able to get past Vinny, as we watch the rest of the field then fly by. Jaden pulling a rather big gap at the moment. Vinny runs it slightly too deep into that last corner, which puts him off into the gravel, and he loses about 4 or 5 places from doing that. On board here with, I believe, Method trying to go around the outside of Bowtie, not able to do so, but Assetto Drifter completely kamikazes into the side of Kitu and then hits into the side of Bowtie, and Method says thank you very much for once again, as Rusty had back at Snetterton, three places. A little bit of contact in a straight line, not sure if that was intentional or not. Method still having a look for the outside, unable to get something done as Scalaris ends up running wide also around the first corner, and then Method goes down the inside into the second corner. Maybe a little bit of contact on corner exit. They did look quite close. The Assetto Drifter still able to stay ahead at this time, as it's getting very, very close now in this mid-pack. Back on board, looking out the back of what's his car, we can see Method get very, very sideways, and then that off puts Kitu, who ends up going into the barrier out the last corner. This will once again be on board with me, trying to get past Bowtie. I see a gap, so plant the throttle, and managed to get it down the inside nice and cleanly there. Bowtie going to be able to get a slight undercut out of the corner, but not enough momentum out of it to be alongside down into the first corner. A little bit of contact in a straight line, but after viewing the replay it was indeed lag induced. This would be me trying to overtake Method. I would go down the inside, but Method would turn in, maybe not really realising I was there, and that would send him off onto the grass, and he would lose a few positions from that. Just to get a view of it, Jaden has already pretty much pulled a corner advantage over Joseph McKenna and his Carina, as we now look out the back of Method's car, as Kitty goes down the inside after they both had their last corner offs on separate laps. Method unable to challenge back into the third corner. Back on board with, this must have been me, I believe. Me and MBG had a nice little battle. Coming around the last corner, he left me space, so I just chucked my car down the inside. However, that Cavalier has definitely got some grunt, as he was able to pull alongside down into the first corner, but me just being slightly later on the brakes, able to hold the position. Not getting as good a run out the corner as MBG, so I have to go defensive into the second turn, but luckily managed to keep onto the position. MBG did have a look around the outside, or trying to line himself up for the outside of turn 3, but backs out of it, and another place gains there for me. On board with Tom on his charge back up through the field after his lap 1 incident at the first corner. He was behind Scalaris, and this would be a nice little battle that would occur over the coming laps, and we should indeed get some nice little action from them coming up soon. This would be on board with Brett. He was a long way down after his first corner off, collected by, I believe, a Assetto Drifter through the first corner on that lap 1 incident, but he was on a charge, working his way back up through the field, grabbing every place he could, as I believe that's the BMW with no fridge there. Runs out wide, having a bit of a battle with Clementine. Back with Tom. Scalaris unfortunately runs it out wide. Tom putting him under just a little bit too much pressure by the looks of things. And he's able to sweep his car down the inside, obviously, with those BMWs being on equal standards. This would be looking at the back of Alex Plunkett's BMW. The Assetto Drifter would be able to squeeze down the inside after he runs wide, not able to get the drive out the corner that he wants. And Assetto Drifter gaining the position there. This would be up front. This might be the battle for third place, as Toru runs it slightly wide coming into the first corner, and Riosak in his Renault 19 able to squeeze up the inside. You can see Toru trying to close the door, but obviously not having the space to do so. Plunkett was sticking to the back of Assetto Drifter though, but a slight error around the third corner would see me close right up to the back of him through the little tight left-right section. I try and pressure him into a mistake, faking to go for the outside, but he's smart and defends it well. I try and get the undercut out the corner, but with my car being a front-wheel drive, I'm really just struggling to put the power down. Coming into the first corner though, a lot of late braking, a little bit later than I probably should have braked. A little bit of contact as well mid-corner, and another place there game for me. This would be on board with Fapster 21's Mondeo, I should say. He was looking at the back of Vinny, who had Toru in front of him in that Sierra. And we can see Vinny's going to have a look for the inside here, really mess it up. Fapster's going to have to really slow on the brakes mid-corner, which he's not going to be too keen on. Already trying to find a way past Vinny, trying to dive down the inside for the last corner, but Vinny says no and closes the door on him. This will be on board about a lap later. He's going to have a look around the outside of the first corner. Clementine, the back markers on the outside. A little bit of contact made between the two. I don't think Fapster was too pleased by that, as he chucks it down the inside at the third corner, and that may have sent Vinny off into a spin, which would put him down into about P8 or P9, I believe, as I was able to sweep around the outside. There you can see your race leader James just going past the bottom of your screen. Then that's one of the back markers, I believe, of Rusty, and then Joseph McKenna a little bit further back. And there would be the battle between Rio and Toru. This would be on board with Scalaris, as we would see a race leader Jaden run out wide, and then it might have been No Fridge goes into a spin, and Scalaris also fighting his car on corner exit too. And you can see how much Joseph's managed to close up from that. It's about a 3-second gap now between him and Jaden, This would be on board with Fapster after seeing Rio go around the outside of one of the back markers. It might have been Rosty. I believe it is indeed the case as he comes down into the braking zone. Rosty gets it very wrong, and one wheel onto the grass, and just a couple of laps later Fapster has worked his way right up to the back of Rio and is going to be trying to challenge for a manoeuvre. Not sure if Rio was aware of Fapster's attempt at an overtake on Vinny. However, he runs it slightly too deep into the corner, and that allows Fapster to sweep down the inside and get that third place podium position from him. This would be back on board with me, having a slight running issue with Rosty, who would come back across. Rio would be spamming his horn down the front straight, I should say, trying to find the way past the Assetto drifter, who would once again run slightly deep like Rio did a couple laps earlier. I believe there's the back marker and no fridge in there as well, and I was only a couple car lengths off the back of this group, but just not close enough. So there is your race winner, Jaden. Joseph would bring it home, closing the gap in at the end of the race. Your final place on the podium would be third, which is Fapster. Bowtie, he would be a lap down in his Mondeo. CRS would be very wide. Rio would get fourth, Assetto Drifter would get fifth, and I would bring it home in my qualifying position of sixth. Further back down the grid though, the battle was not over. I believe this was for 9th place. Kitu would have a look down the inside of Vinny coming out the last corner, unable to get it done. Going to try and squeeze it down the inside as they would go 3 wide across the line, with Vinny ultimately getting 9th place. And that would be it really for Brands Hatch. A rather eventful race to begin with, but the battles were rather lackluster, so there wasn't particularly too much to commentate about this one. But overall it was a good race. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, except the lap 1 incident, of course, but we're all going to learn from that one, and hopefully it won't happen again. So thank you all very much for watching this video. As you can see, kids who have a massive lag sesh, and everyone do lots of drifts coming around the first corner. So cheers for watching everyone, and goodbye.